I love baseball, but yearn to play in America. I would look across the water and dream about the great time they must be having there. I bet it's not so great. Dang it, I'm at the wrong country.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. Hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. I know that I'm always happy going into the weekend, knowing that more and more people are going to be having long conversations at the family barbecue or at the local pub, or now that we're starting, at least in Wisconsin, festival season's kind of cranking away. More and more people are going to be having long discussions about politics when they're drinking their beer. Who doesn't want that? Who didn't want that? I mean, isn't that great? Don't you just love leaving work and then going and trying to unwind over the weekend and then discussing politics when your friends and oh wait, you don't like that? Oh, I had that totally backwards. I had that totally upside down. Now I remember. That's right. Nobody likes that. One of the core tenets of being in a bar in general is no politics, no religion. But that won't stop Bud Light from forcing that conversation onto people. And now new analysts claim that there is no return, for these customers, that they have waited too long. Bud Light sales showing zero signs of rebounding, down nearly 30%. Bud Light has completely panicked. Now they're starting more aggressively blocking people for dunking on them on Twitter. They literally can't tweet at all going into the weekend. You know they're going to have a Friday tweet, and you know it's going to get absolutely ratioed into oblivion. This is what happens when you want to get political and instead of just selling your product. That's why I work so hard with my company, coffeebrandcoffee.com. Happy 4th, HAPPY, number 4TH, 15% off site-wide. We've got 20 plus different coffees. We make them all. Available in whole bean and ground, 15 different organic teas, real cacao cocos, K-cups, and if you don't drink coffee, tea, or cocoa, we have a sweet The Quartering Coffee Brand Coffee hat that we're selling. We've got other stuff here that you can use that promo code on, and I hope I'll earn your business today. Over 5,000 reviews from real customers you can review with an average review score of 4.8 out of 5. So I hope I'll earn your business today, because, you know, I actually appreciate my customers. Bud Light sales showing no signs of rebounding, down nearly 30% from last year. The drop in sales represents Bud Light's earnings over $26 million a year less than it did a year ago. Following the backlash Bud Light is still receiving for its brand partnership with Dylan Mulvaney, the beer brand sales are down nearly 30% from where they were in last June. Bud Light made $26.3 million less in sales in the week ending June 25th compared to the same previous week. A Money Watch report said that Bud Light is showing zero signs of rebounding from its slump. This is something I think that they were hoping that people would forget about, that people would move on from, that people would give them a break on. And quite frankly, that's just not the case. That's not going to be what's happening. That's not going to be, possible at this point. They've just waited too long. Meanwhile, other beer brands like Coors Light and Modelo Especial have seen a significant bump in their sales for the very same period. And also Yuengling. The latest data shows that the slump Bud Light has been in since partnering with Mulvaney, a trans social media influencer, even in the summer months when beer sales often surge, is down. According to beer tracker Bump Williams Consulting, Bud Light sales are down 28% for the second to last week of June compared to the same period of last year. Respectively, Yuengling, Coors Light, and Miller Lite all rose by 28%. Meanwhile, Circana noted that Modelo and Coors Light each saw their sales grow by around 10 million the same period. You know, it's just become, I keep thinking that this is going to kind of die down a little bit, that this is going to slow down a little bit. And even if you look, there are days where their stock is recovering a little bit. You can see today it's up 17 cents, but for the month and for the last month, it's up 35 cents. I'd call that breaking even. unless it was at a penny to start with, I suppose. But over the last 6 months, it just hasn't recovered since the March Madness bonanza. It's been completely cratering. That after months of being on the plus side. What do we learn? Well, maybe just listen to your customers. You see, this last post they made was yesterday, July 6th. In fact, I was incorrect. I thought the level of backlash and pushback that they were going to get from customers was actually going to lighten up, that it was actually going to cool down a little bit. But it actually looks like that's not happening whatsoever. In fact, it's increasing. This post, just a day old, has 6,000 comments on it. This post, 2,000. So what's the difference? Well, it's Thursday, stock the cooler accordingly, and we see a bunch of Bud Lights, which you can now get cheaper than water, literally, at stores across this nation. You see some of the replies. Sarah Field says, first step, stock cooler. Second step, throw away and buy Yuengling. Throw away beer. Throw away and buy Yuengling beer. Now, Yuengling is reaping a lot of benefits here. They're kind of keeping a low profile. They certainly could be hamming it up a little bit and dunking on Bud Light more, I think, but they're just not for whatever reason. You see Not a Chance. You see If Bud Light Had a Face. You see Dylan Mulvaney with an obvious 5 o'clock shadow. You just see just everybody in here. Hey, wait, I have garbage. This goes in here. No thanks, Bud Light. You tried to replace women with a fake. I'll take my chances with tequila and wake up with a surprise the right way. It's like, it's Thursday, ratio Bud Light accordingly. Just bought my weekly racks of Bud Light. Trump supporters were giving me deadly looks, but I just ignored them. I don't think so. Political commentator, professional civic owner, Andrew Tate advisor, not a troll. Okay, so it's a troll account. There's no end in sight. A man pretending to be a woman is a perfect spokesperson for a beverage pretending to be a beer. I can't understate literally how much worse it is and has been than I thought it would be. Now the question is, are they going to, can it sink lower? On Tuesday, we'll get new sales reports, usually Monday night or something like that. It's possible. I've always said that I think 30% is basically the absolute peak of where, that it could go in terms of negativity, just because, look, not everybody's terminally online like we are. Not everybody gets all their news online and is on Twitter and all these other platforms. Most people don't know, there's a lot of people you might be sitting there and thinking to yourself, like, how would there are a lot of people that are walking into the grocery store saying, whoa, Bud Light's only $6 for a 25 pack. I'm going to get as many as I can. Like, that customer actually does exist. It's like every time there's a video game outrage, I kind of liken it back to when I worked at Walmart. Whenever there's this huge online kerfuffle about, let's say localization, or they make someone's chest smaller like they did in Final Fantasy for Tifa, this kind of stuff in the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And then you go into Walmart and there's a huge line of people who want to buy the game and don't know anything about what you're talking about. This whole world that exists online, this kind of content world, doesn't really exist for everyone. So there's definitely a ceiling to the level of damage that can be done due to online outrage. The thing that was different about Bud Light is that it spilled into the local bars and stuff like that, where people were giving each other the business about drinking Bud Light and all this kind of stuff. So it was it got more interesting. It picked up more legs. And so that's why, even though the initial drop was huge, you're still seeing little by little by little by little, because there's some guy that shows up at the bar that drinks Bud Light and he's getting educated on it. And, the millions and millions, other brands improve. Bud Light fights to survive. Bud Light is still, Bud Light is not going anywhere. The idea that it's going to, collapse is not happening. But it is funny to see that we managed to still squeak out a little more victory this week. It'll be interesting to see if they ever crack, or if they finally come back. But I mean, by the way, all of this is happening during the summer beer drinking season. Now, if you're like me, you drink year round, but beer sells way more in the summer in the Midwest. There are places like California or Florida that are hot all the time. But for a lot of the country, this is it, baby. Like, this is when the beer gets sold. Music festivals, festival season, all this kind of stuff. And, they've waited and waited and waited. Now we're into the second week of July going now. They're going to miss the whole season. And then what you're going to see is a huge sell-off of InBev if people start believing that there's just no coming back from it. So it's going to be interesting to see. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you use Happy 4th and check out my company, coffeebrandcoffee.com. We would love to earn your business. If you buy something and you don't like it, I'm happy to refund your money. We care about our customers, and I just hope that you'll give us a try, and we'll talk to you again real soon.